Hi, this is Ben Ivy, the fulfillment artist, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how we have done long distance for 3 years now across the entire world. People say they're in long distance relationships when they're like an hour, 2 hours apart on the same island. Like for us, we've done 15-hour time differences, 8-hour time differences, UK, China, LA, all over the place. So today, basically, I just wanted to dive in a little bit about our journey, and then I want to give you all the best tools and hacks that we've experienced over the time we've been together, as well as any other tools I can give you that I think is going to be really beneficial if you're in a long-distance relationship, or if you just want to find out and understand how to maintain a relationship moving forward if you don't spend that much time together. Okay, so to start with, I've known Ev for about 5.5 years, but we've been together for 3 years now. So when we first started going out, we saw each other for 3 days, and then I didn't see her for 3.5 months. That's crazy. Can you believe that? Oh, one thing. I'm not going to lean back because I realized my face is in the sun, and I did a video once where I got burnt on the top of my forehead, so this is why I'm in the shade now. Anyway, so we started going out, and I didn't see her in 3.5 months. So what I did was I realized that the only way I'm going to make this work is if I read everything on long-distance relationships. So I did. I went on Google and I read all the different articles, I looked at the books, and I basically became an expert in all the different things to do with long-distance relationships. Now I have to say, there was some good advice. There is also some terrible advice. I mean, there are some people out there that actually have no idea what they're talking about. They actually have no idea. These are people that have read books and have all these theories, but they've never done it. So I'm talking to you from my experience about what it's like. One of the first things to say is statistically, it's exactly the same as if you're in a relationship with regards to the chances of you being together. Right? There's no difference if you're long distance or if you're close. That has no impact. Next, let me dive in because I've got loads of notes here and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So, next is the fact that it's tough, okay? It's tough. And I want to mention that airports are the best and the worst place for us, because an airport is where you get to pick up them. That's amazing, it's wonderful, and then you go there. I can't even count the number of times that, whoa, there we are, caught you there, that we've teared up at airports or cried. I mean, it's just been, airports are tough. So, yeah, way to break my state with the camera falling. You've got to be aware of airports, but enjoy it. So one of the things that we do now is we try and say goodbye before the airports, because if you're at the airport and you try and say goodbye and there's lots of people around, it doesn't really work. So we try and say goodbye before, and then usually we're in a better state. And make sure you bring tissues and loads of water to the airport as well. That's just one of the things that I think is very important. Next, you know that the time is going to end when you're together. So maybe you spend a weekend, a week, a month, whatever it is, you're going to spend a certain amount of time together, and you want to make sure, there's one of the airplanes at LAX's, you want to make sure that the time you spend is powerful. One of the things that we did is we made a lot of memories and took a lot of photos, because when you first start out, you don't have that many. So the more photos you get, the more memories you create, the time seems longer when you look back. But what's really important is that you know the next time that you're going to meet. Because a lot of the times you'll meet up for a weekend, but then you don't know when you're going to see each other next. So I think it's really important that you know when the next date is, even if it's like, okay, I know it's in 2 months' time, roughly, it'll be around that week. At least then you have a game plan, you know what you're looking forward to, as opposed to, I have no idea when I'm going to see this other person again. Next. Patience is key, okay? You've got to be patient in relationships. This is patient as well as compromisation, right? Especially for myself when I fly into different time zones. Sometimes I've got to wake up at 5 a.m. to speak to Ev, because otherwise the time zones don't work. Sometimes I've got to stay up a little later, or she does. And it's about finding that compromise from your routines. I'm lucky in that I get to choose my own schedule. So I don't have the issue of the 9 to 5, but even so, you can make it work if you're committed to the relationship and really understand about how much time you really want to spend together and speaking to each other every day. Speaking to each other every day is like really important, because it means that you're constantly connected as if you'd be in a relationship and you're having those conversations. So I speak to Ev pretty much every single day now. Previously it was actually, no, in fairness, it's most weekdays. Then on the weekend, we try and maybe have a date night. And if not, maybe we're both really busy, then we can't. But the aim is for at least on Sunday to speak for an elongated period of time. Now, on Sunday, something that we've been doing for literally 3 years now is our love tank. So a love tank is pretty simple. It's where you ask the other person a series of questions to see how loved they are and to see how loved they are going to be in the future if you do certain things for them. So the questions are very simple. Number one is how is your love tank? How loved did you feel this week on a scale of 1 to 10, right? And they'll say a 5. And you say, okay, why? And they say, well, I felt loved when you took out the trash and cooked me dinner, but you didn't reply to my text. You didn't call me, and you turned up late for our dinner, so we had to cancel the reservation, and we couldn't get in, and it was really stressful. And we were late for the movie, so we didn't even watch the movie. Right, as an example. And then you're just sharing back and forth and you understand how they're feeling. And then you ask a question, when did you feel most loved? Now this is important because the question, when did you feel most loved, is powerful because sometimes we don't know what really makes the other person tick and what really makes them feel loved. Because often the way in which we express love is the same way in which we want to receive love. Instead, you want to work out how they best receive love as your partner. And this question is a great clue so you can better understand what it's like when you interact with them. So from there, you then move on to, okay, what can I do next week to make you feel more loved? Because then you've got something tangible that you can do with something different. This could be, I want you to, it could be take me out for dinner. It could be I want you to spend time with me. It may be that I want to sit down and talk about a specific thing. It may be I want you to take out the trash more often. Like whatever it is, right? But there should be one thing, and you start to make these minute changes, and it just really starts to accelerate your relationship. Now, just because I'm sharing about relationships, I'll share some of this. So it's important to also know that there are times, and okay, this happened today. Sorry, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So yesterday, I'm now working, and then I got a text from my girlfriend being like, I'm coming home if you even care, right? Now, obviously, this is where women have a cycle where they go through PMS, right? They have periods. And for guys who are very logical, this is just something you need to think about. Sometimes they'll say something that they don't mean, but you'll try and take it literally. So I know that obviously she's had a stressful day, she's annoyed, she's tried to call me, I couldn't pick up because I was on the phone, and what she really needs is some TLC. But that's taken time of being Sherlock Holmes. And if you haven't looked at my other relationship videos, check them out because they explain much more about relationships and common issues. So that's just one of the things, but let me go back to long distance. So, understand what environments are good for you and what are bad for you given that you're in a long distance. If you're in a long distance relationship, going clubbing, going partying, going out loads, probably isn't the best thing to do if you're in a long distance relationship, right? You want to be surrounding yourself in an environment which supports what you do as opposed to tempts you, because there's only, you've just got to be aware and prime your environment to best help you. So think about who you spend time with, think about who you hang out with. One of the things that I recommend is maybe talk to someone else who's in a long distance relationship, because you're going to be going through similar experiences and similar scenarios to them. So it's important to see those challenges and talk to them and get a different perspective, because you can't just rely on your partner for everything. It's sometimes nice to get that second person perspective on your life. All right, next, take the time that you have to develop yourself, because you've got a lot of time on your hands when you're in a long distance. So one of the best things is to actually develop yourself and your mindset and start to understand your patterns in relationships, because most of the issues that come up in relationships is your stuff to deal with, right? Because if you watch a lot of my videos, I talk about how everything that we dislike about someone else is something that we reject about ourselves. If something pisses you off, it's something that you need to deal with. It's your issue. So this is something to bear in mind, because in a long distance, sometimes things come up. Maybe you feel jealous. Maybe there's different things. And this is where you want to create boundaries. That's another thing that I'll quickly mention. Boundaries is something that we discussed early on. And what are the boundaries? What's acceptable in a relationship? Can you hold someone else's hand? Can you give them a hug? This is obviously, obviously you can give people hugs, but I'm just giving some scenarios about what you think is acceptable. Depending on the culture, Maybe it's not acceptable to, take someone out for dinner in the evening if you don't know them very well. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that unless, and then we made like a list of a few people that we're fine to go to dinner with because they're friends. But other people, you can't go on a dinner date with them because, that's not something we do. If we were together, you wouldn't do that, right? So the boundaries is something that I'd also really recommend to check out. Okay, share the little things that make you laugh and make you smile throughout the day. One of the things that I struggled with to begin with was sharing the small details, but often that's what your partner really, really cares about. Whether you tripped up in the day, you spilt water on you, you slipped, you farted and someone heard, whatever it is, but it's those funny things and those little things over time that really start to build that bond in the relationship and allows you to bond with each other through those small experiences. So share your day, share pictures, share things with each other so that you can constantly have those interactions, because it's not the same as when you're living together where you share everything when you get home. So instead, share throughout the day. One of the things that we do is Snapchat, Instagram stories. I'm not very good at sending my Instagram stories. I was much better on Snapchat, but I am improving. But it's just something to bear in mind, right? You want to be able to share those little things with your partner. Okay, next, schedule a time to chat. It's important to not go, okay, we'll chat sometime in the morning. No, schedule a specific time, because you don't want to both be hanging around waiting, because that's one of the worst things to do, and then you get miscommunication, you miss a text, blah, blah, blah. So we schedule it in the week before. We know exactly when we're going to talk. I'll give you a little secret as well. I sometimes make the time to chat shorter, because then she's expecting to speak to half an hour when I know we'll speak for an hour, and then that pleases me. I know it's her evening, so I know she doesn't have anything else on. So that is one of a great strategy for the guys. That's very clever. Okay, or girls, you can take that as you please. Next, have a routine with one another, right? Before you go to bed, always message each other. When you wake up, maybe you send a certain message. Maybe it's a sticker. Whatever it is, just build that routine in, because it's important that you have those sort of routines over time, because ultimately a relationship is often a sum of those habits that you develop over time. So developing good ones in a long distance will mean that when you're together, it'll be even easier. Also, long distance will teach you more about communication than you could possibly imagine just working one-on-one, because you've got to be so clear in your communication, you've got to be able to listen, you've got to be able to share in a much smaller amount of time. So I think long distance relationships are brilliant for developing yourself as a person. I wouldn't be the man I was today if we were in a relationship together to begin with. I think the long distance has helped us grow as people, because it's allowed us to think about our own patterns more and actually understand one another, and also have spouses where we live together for 2 months and then apart, and we get that sort of experience as opposed to people moving in straight away and then there being lots of stress. That's another thing to bear in mind. Okay, next is be flexible. Be flexible in that, there will be times where something comes up and your partner can't speak to you. Maybe it's working overtime. Maybe there's issues. Maybe their phone died. Whatever it is, be flexible. And also be flexible when you are having that communication, not to take on everything on board and to take everything literally, but to take everything with a pinch of salt. Wow, I can see the sun slowly coming over here. I'm going to slowly start to burn inside my forehead. This is what happened last time. Okay, let's see if I can slide through these. Little gestures. Little gestures are brilliant. So what I do is once a month, I have a sort of wow moment that I like to give my girlfriend, whether it's a moonpig card or a bunch of flowers or candles or just something that gives her a little surprise. There is a website, moonpig.com. Check that out, or moonpig.co.uk. Brilliant for cards. There's Snack Sack, or they've got these subscription boxes of snacks. Like, my girlfriend's a foodie, so it's like sending her food every month. She loves that. That's amazing. So that's something else. Subscriptions is another cool way to give them little presents, but don't get lazy with it, because if they expect it, then you've got to do something different. So mix it up a little bit. Okay. Make sure to be completely open with your partner 100%. Sometimes it's easy for us to hide different things. We don't want to share stuff. Be open 100% and don't hide stuff. Because if you're open 100% straight away and early on, and you share that authentically, you're going to build that rapport. I went out, there was a girl that tried to hit on me. It was very funny. Or sometimes I'll tell my girlfriend, I went to this conference, there was some lovely elderly ladies there, above 40, who were married, and we had some very interesting conversations, just so I know what she's like. And it's just understanding your partner and knowing what not to say and what to say, but being completely open and honest when you say it. Right. This is really important. Don't call them when you have bad signal. there are so many issues that have occurred, I can't even tell you. I've called my girlfriend and, you know, fair enough, I'm in China, so the signal's not great, but on the metro, probably not the best idea. So what I recommend is, you know, wait till you have better signal and then speak to them. You can call them, but just make sure the signal's good. And if not, send lots of voice messages and things like that. Oh, voice messages are brilliant. You've got to send loads of voice messages. Send a video here and there. I tend to stick with my voice messages. But I think voice messages are great because, you know, they can listen to it while they get ready and things like that. That's a must. Okay, so now, some apps, some gadgets and some stuff that I think you guys need. You need a calendar, iCal, Google Calendar, whatever it is, so you can share each other's schedules, so you know exactly what they're doing, what you're doing, and yeah, that's just going to really help you organize yourselves, organize your stuff, and you can see what they're doing, see what they're up to, realize, you know, they're going out tonight, you can also go out with your friends, you know, and you can sort of align that, which is pretty cool. Next, I have this contraption which is currently holding my phone. So basically have a contraption, it's like a, I don't know, like an iPhone, iPhone holder, and or whatever phone you have that so that you don't constantly hurt your neck when you're talking to them like this. So buying some sort of contraption like that's important. Get some wicked headphones so you can actually speak to them properly and really clearly. And next is make sure you know long term what you guys want to do together and have those difficult conversations. Understand where you want to live. Understand what type of life you want to live. Don't put off the hard questions. This is the most important thing. Talk about lifestyle design. You know, what type of life do you want to have in the future? Where do you want to live? Do you want to have children? Do you want to have kids? I actually know a couple that got divorced 6 weeks after marrying because they never talked about kids and one of them didn't want children. How stupid is that, right? Have those conversations. Other things, 36 questions to fall in love, brilliant. We used to do it over quiz night. That was a lot of fun. We obviously changed the routines, but we had quiz nights to begin with. That added a lot of flavor, a lot of fun, especially when you want to get to understand your partner a little bit more through those questions. That is brilliant. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. So, thank you very much for watching the video. Comment if you've got any questions on long distance. I consider myself an expert now that I've done this for 3 years. But, you know, any other comments, if you disagree with what I say, you know, let me know. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I can go back and forth and tell you why I say certain things. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, like it if you found it interesting. And I'm very excited to speak to you very soon.